So I guess first off, did you? No, yeah, you'd finished Loki already.
I hadn't last week. I have now though.
Yeah. So what'd you think?
Listen, the finale is good. I'm not quite as high on it as everybody else seems to be.
Really?
I think, yeah, because I was thinking about it. It's like all of the individual parts of that episode, I think, work really well. I think where each character ends up and the conclusion of their arcs works really well. I kind of hope that there's not another season of this.
Yes.
I would actually kind of love it if we just never saw Loki again. We definitely will, but I think it'd be kind of cool if this is just like how his entire MCU story ended. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is just one of those things where the season kind of underwhelmed me overall, and I just don't. I just think I was kind of a little bit mentally checked out by the time the finale rolled around. And even though I think it was good, I just didn't. I think this was kind of a little bit lesser than the sum of its parts. Because I think each of those parts are pretty good, but it didn't gel with me overall. And not even to say it didn't gel. I just didn't like it as much as everybody else does.
Oh, interesting. Season as a whole, I think I liked season 1 a lot better, but that ending, I love that ending. I don't.
Yeah. Did you watch the Marvels?
I did see the Marvels.
Okay. What do you think of the Marvels?
I actually liked it a lot more than I thought it was going to.
I definitely think it's better than the first one.
I definitely think so too. I don't agree with you though on the fact that final battle was like the best.
No, I thought the first one was the best.
Oh, okay, okay. Then yes, I think the last one
was not as good. Yeah.
No, the last one, like, okay. So my problem with it is that entire movie as a whole felt super rushed.
Yeah, it's just scenes happening like it feels kind of random. They're just like, here's a scene, and we're jumping on the next one. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that it felt super rushed. That whole mid scene in Aledna, I think is what the planet's name is called.
The singing planet, I'm assuming.
Yes. That they could have completely scrapped all of that. Like, not scrapped all of it, but like that whole Brie Larson dancing and like singing scene, they could have just completely not done that because
everybody seems to hate that. I don't really mind it that much.
But it's just my problem with it is in the end the dude's bilingual anyway. So what was the point of it?
That's fair, yeah. Actually,
like they could have just completely scrapped that. Like that beginning scene, I don't mind with them walking up to it. Like, okay, it's a singing planet. Like nobody else speaks like regular English, but the prince does. So like, what was the point of that? And then the final battle was super underwhelming. All all Kamala Khan did was 2 platforms, punch, slide, and then the other 2 would come in every single time, and she never saw it coming somehow.
Yeah,
like I was like, okay, and then the end credit scene, I thought it was all right. Like I don't.
Interesting. I thought you would be more excited by it.
My problem is, why would they introduce them in an alternate universe?
Because, like,
is it they all just going to invade our universe now?
I think so. I think it's like a Secret Wars thing. We'll kind of pull them all in, and then they'll cut off the doors to the multiverse because you can't really keep those open. Otherwise, you just bring back characters from the dead whenever you want. And then I think they're just gonna be in the universe. Because I think I don't know how they would have really introduced them in, and I guess this is minor spoilers. I mean, it's kind of big spoilers, but we're kind of talking around it. I don't know how they would have really just worked them in having always been in the universe. Like, I just feel like it kind of would have been tricky to do that. So I think this kind of makes sense.
And honestly, now that you say Secret Wars, that makes sense because they are making a Secret Wars movie. So I guess it makes more sense now than it makes more sense. But the movie as a whole, I think I'm gonna watch it again with my little brother because he's here right now for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So right now I'm sitting at like 6.8.
Yeah, for me it was like a 6.5. I was like, it's fun enough. It's not mind blowing, and I think I did think it kind of got less interesting as the movie went on. But I had a lot of fun with the first like 15-30 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
And then I think generally it was still like, it was solid enough. The fact that it moved so quick was kind of a blessing and a curse. That's like it moves too fast to have any lasting impact, but at the same time, because it's moving so fast, like I didn't really get bored or anything, and I didn't really like when there was stuff that I didn't like about the movie. It moves on so quickly that I didn't even have time to sit with it. So it was like whatever.
And my other problem with not necessarily the movie, but with the MCU is I don't like what they're doing to Nick Fury's character.
It's all over the place.
I just they're moving so far away from like the super spy thing that he's supposed to be, and I really don't like what they're doing to his character.
He is a completely different character in this movie than Secret Invasion.
So different. Like so that's my just another problem, but not with the movie itself, just more with MCU as a whole.
I did also like, and again, this is kind of spoilers for the last scene of the movie, but where this is what I was talking around in circles with you last week, where Kamala does a Nick Fury and recruits Kate. I just think that was really fun.
Yes. Yes.
And also, like, if any character was going to do that, she is 100% the person who would do that. So I think it just worked really well.
100%.
Alright, hello everybody! Welcome back to another episode of Earth's Mightiest Comics. This is the show where every week we talk about the new comics that came out that week, and we say whether or not we like them. This week, it's, we don't have anything significant in the way of, like, big new number ones or anything, but there are some, kind of series that I, am always excited to see pop up, including Daredevil, we got Green Lantern, there's there's that Batman and Robin series that's going on. So yeah, there's definitely some stuff to talk about. But so as always, there will be full spoilers for everything in this show that we talk about, and also there will be time codes below if you would like to skip around to any place in particular. So I'm thinking, how do you feel about starting with Immortal Thor number 4?
Sure.
So this is written by Al Ewing. The artist is Martin Cotillot. And essentially, this issue mostly focuses on the formation of the Thor Corps, which is just essentially Thor's like, yo, Tauros is coming, and I need help, so I'm going to recruit a bunch of people who have held the Thor mantle in the past, Storm is the only one who I'm not sure if she's ever had it. They make mention to her, like, Loki having just, like, given her the hammer and, like, tricked her into getting Thor powers or something. Yes. So maybe that counts. But, yeah, so that the Thor Corps, it consists of Storm, Thor, obviously, Beta Ray Bill, Loki, kind of.
Loki's in there.
Loki's in there, but, yeah, it's kind of a different scenario. And then also... and Jane Foster as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, what did you think of this one?
I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is probably the best one so far.
I would say so. I would definitely say so.
I also think it's really interesting because last week I mentioned how much I hated the 60-second Don Blake, like Thor losing the powers of Thor after not holding Mjolnir for like 60 seconds. Yes. I mentioned last week how much I hated that in old classic comics. It's not happening with Thor, but when I saw when Thor, there's a point where after Thor and Storm fight, Loki shows up and Thor's like, Storm, throw the hammer at Loki. And I was like, no fucking way. And then I once they all started like trading the hammer, I was like, please, I hope to God they're doing the 60-second thing, and then they mentioned it specifically, and I was like, oh my god, because I think they don't have the fight with Tauros in this issue. He shows up right at the end.
He shows up, yes.
But when I saw them all passing the hammer to each other, I was like, oh my god, this could turn into such a cool creative action sequence next issue, and I think it's going to, where they're all just like passing the hammer to each other to try and keep the power of Thor. And they just have to, like, they have such a limited amount of time, they have to just do it. They each have to hold it within 60 seconds, or else it could be just such a cool sequence where they're all just trying to make sure everybody else still has the powers. I'm just really excited for how that could turn out. So yeah, I was really happy to see that. I think, Al Ewing is really great at writing Storm as well. He's been writing her for a while over in X-Men Red. She's great in that series, and I think she works really well here. And it's cool to see Bill. I'm always a big fan of Beta Ray Bill. He's a fun character. And there's also a cameo from the Minotaur at the end.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I specifically really enjoyed like the beginning part with Thor and Storm, where Storm just like the one part that like it was specifically the art that like really got me was when Thor first called Storm, and she was like basically telling him to like send her back to Arakko.
Yeah.
And
do you remember what Arakko is?
Yes,
I think they explained it in this issue actually, so that doesn't actually.
I don't remember. I know what Arakko is. Yes.
Yeah.
It's Mars essentially. Yeah. But yeah, she was like he was talking and she just snapped and a lightning bolt came down and struck Thor.
Yeah.
I thought that was like beautifully drawn.
Yeah.
And and she just kept saying like Thor talked to the lightning so like the lightning would stop doing like basically hurting him. And Storm made the point was like I'm not just the goddess of like lightning. I'm the goddess of weather, and she increased the pressure around Thor himself. So I just thought it was like you said, like Storm was really well written. And I really enjoyed this issue.
Yeah. I also, you mentioned the Thor talking to the lightning and being like, "Yo, stop hurting me, please." And I like that that's kind of become a thread because he did that in the first issue as well, where he's like, "I'm disappointed in you, Storm Clouds. What are you doing here?"
Yes.
So I think that's fun. It's good, for sure. I think it's I don't know if I don't fall quite as high on this issue as it seems the consensus is. I think it's very good, but I don't think its leads better than the previous issues at this point. I think it's interesting that the Minotaur is coming back because he played quite a big role in Immortal Hulk, and he's also been quite a big role in previous Thor runs as well. So I'm interested to see what his plan is, especially because he's got a copy of Journey into Mystery 83, which is the first appearance of Thor. I'm like, what the hell is going on there? It's getting really weird and meta. And I've been playing Alan Wake 2 recently, which is also very strange and meta and deals with like writings within writings and stuff. And so it's just like my brain is fucking breaking from all these weird meta storytelling devices. But I think it was good. I'm excited for the next issue where we'll see the Thor Corps fully in action. I really hope they make good use of that 60-second power thing for the action sequence. And I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah. I think I think I've rated every issue of this an 8 out of 10 actually. I do think this is the best one though. So, and I'm sure I'll get another one that's higher up there soon.
Cool. I will talk about Sandman real quick.
Okay.
Simply because I don't have much to say.
Yeah, I dropped it. So
yes, you did. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't remember what happened last issue. And so when I didn't remember that the last issue that his house was on fire.
Right.
So this issue instantly starts with him not in the Sandman suit. Like last issue ended with him being in it, like in front of his burning house. So this one started with him already inside of his burned house. Apparently someone died in there. They don't know who it is. And then he discovered that someone stole his journal with all like his like poison recipes on it,
right?
Including like the super deadly ones. Mm-hmm. So now his worry is that like he has to find that person before they unleash his poison as Sandman.
Yeah,
and basically just a lot of it's not even like there was one action sequence with him Sandman, and he went up against 3 henchmen specifically because he was trying to find their boss. But most of it was just Wesley Dodds himself, basically just trying to figure out what to do with his normal life after he lost his house. He's staying with like a family friend, yada yada, and it just ends with you seeing like basically like an identical version of Sandman, but it's like darker colors. It's like dark. Okay. It's like I think it was like red and black. Honestly, It was all right. I didn't like. I don't really have I don't have anything really bad to say about it, but I don't have a lot of good things to say about it. Yeah. The action sequence, I think I rated this one so high simply because of the action sequence with Sandman. Mm-hmm. It was nice to actually see something because even in Night Terrors, you didn't see a lot of. If you did see him fighting, it wasn't a lot of just him one-on-one. Mm-hmm. So this was nice to see him finally, and there was one specifically cool sequence where he like literally just jammed his gun down one of the henchmen's throats and just pulled the trigger. So like the dude literally just threw up all of the gas and just like immediately got knocked out. So that was pretty cool. Like it was a pretty cool like little drawing thing there. But
Right.
besides that, I don't really have a lot to say on this. I gave it a 7.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds, to be honest, I still think this sounds kind of boring. And people seem to like this issue in particular, but yeah, the first one just didn't click with me, and I don't know if this one would either. So yeah. Anyway, I will talk about I'll talk about Blade, I guess. This is the only one that I read this week that Sebastian did not read. This is Blade number 5. It is written by Brian Hill, and the artist is Elena Casagrande. This is, I think, pretty handily my favorite issue of the series. Because I have been very back and forth on this overall. I think there is some good stuff in the series. I think, some of the action is pretty good. I think the art is oftentimes great, but I think the story has been paced quite strangely on the whole, and oftentimes it ends in very weird places where it's like, I don't know if it's trying to make a cliffhanger or not, but if it is, it's like it doesn't really feel like a cliffhanger that makes sense to be a cliffhanger. But I think this issue is the first one that I think just all the way through, it works. I think the art, again, looks great. There is one thing that was a little bit strange, I thought, which is that the last issue ended with Blade showing up with some of his allies at the Adana's place and was like, yo, it's time for us to fight. Let's throw down. We're gonna finally gonna end the Adana. And then it picks up after that fight, and like fucking everybody's been slaughtered, and Blade is like alive, and so are his two companions, Tulip and Rotha. But like Tulip has a demon in her now or something, and so yeah, the rest of the issue, it's I think it's paced better. I think the dialogue works better in general because a lot of the rest of this issue is just Blade and Strange talking and being like, yo, what do we do? Like, what the hell's going on? What's our plan? And then Strange does eventually send Blade to the Adana, and Blade immediately gets just fucking like put out of commission. He gets like tied to this chair, and the Adana's like, yo, essentially what her plan seems to be is that she is trying to unleash a bunch of like demonic, supernatural, like kind of magical forces that are hiding within certain people. Those people are not aware of it. They're just like normal humans. But then they have this kind of connection to magic, or these kind of demonic beings, or some sort of, supernatural beings. And so the Adana is unleashing that through whatever she's doing. So she kind of monologues that to Blade, and then is like, all right, I'm gonna let you go because I don't really have a problem with you, Blade. Like you're someone I'm trying to help with this as well, and just kind of so we can all just be demonic forces together or whatever. And then it ends with Blade going to Dracula to ask for help in how to be a better vampire. So yeah,
interesting.
I think it was pretty good, actually. This is a pretty good one. I was under the impression that this was going to wrap up the Adana arc, but it is definitely not. This is still going, and I'm kind of glad it's not, because I feel like there's more to I thought from the beginning that there's a lot of potential to this series, and this is the first time that I felt it kind of realized, and so I'm glad that it's still going. And yeah, so next issue is going to be Dracula and Blade being some vampires, doing a vampire training sequence. So I like this one quite a bit, and this is, again, by far the best issue. I gave us an 8 out of 10. I think it was very solid.
All right, nice. Let's go with Daredevil.
Okay, this is Daredevil number 3. It is it's written by Saladin Ahmed. There are 2 artists on this one. It's Farhad Karami and Aaron Kuder. Yeah, this is, I think, the worst issue of the series so far. Not to say that it's bad, I just think it's kind of bland. Because essentially it's really just like Matt goes to visit Ben Urich, and he's like, yo, something's screwy with Ben Urich, which like we already kind of knew. And then he just goes and fights this gang that I already don't remember the name of. And then it ends with it just being like, hey, Bullseye's the leader of this gang, except he's also seems to be working with someone. He's just like the sub leader of this gang, I guess.
Maybe.
because he's like, yeah, we gotta make sure that we don't screw this up for the boss. So that means Bullseye's in charge of this or something. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So yeah, the action's okay. I think it is weird. I don't know if this is something you kind of noticed, Sebastian, but the art changes are pretty jarring to me. Like it feels like a different comic from page to page in a lot of circumstances. Because I really like Aaron Tudor's art in this series. I think it's worked really well. And so to just kind of like have it for half of this issue and then switch it in the action sequence was just kind of a strange choice. That was a very cool double page spread that I liked though a lot, where Matt's like, I'm going out and I'm gonna beat up some people. I think by far my favorite part of this issue is that so he fights this gang and he kind of takes them out group by group, and each time he goes up to a new group, one of the goons is just like, fuck me, it's Daredevil, and he's like, this should be my new catchphrase, and I thought that was fun. But other than that, I just don't really have much on this one. I'm kind of like, I know Bullseye is one of the very few recognizable Daredevil villains, but I kind of wish we had waited longer for him, because I don't know if I want to see Bullseye so soon. I kind of want to break from Bullseye, even though I think he's a very cool character. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, so this issue was a lot of him just trying to juggle like his daily life with Daredevil life.
Yeah.
With CPS coming to visit the.
I completely forgot that happened.
Yeah, CPS. What is it? What, the church? Right? The church?
It's like a church orphanage kind of thing.
Orphanage, yeah. I'm just gonna call it the church. So yeah, she visited him specifically, and he was late to that meeting. And then there was another thing. No, it was just the other father was texting Matt, being like, "Where are you? You're not where you're supposed to be. That's where you're at."
Yeah.
But I know I think you touched on this at least in the first issue, was that he's getting back into Daredevil really, really fast and way too easily.
Yeah.
And I saw it a lot, specifically a lot in this issue.
Yep.
Where it was just like, he was like, you know what? Matt can't help right now. It has to be Daredevil. And I'm just like, but I felt like that was the whole point, was like, he's not Daredevil anymore.
Right. It's like, why give him amnesia if you're just going to immediately reverse it?
Immediately, yeah. And so I noticed that very much in this one, where he was just like, you know what? Fuck Matt. It's Daredevil time.
Yeah.
So that was like my biggest problem with this issue. Yeah, I don't know. It's it.
I mean, it's fine. It's not terrible. This didn't really feel like it kind of advanced the plot in any major way. I mean, like, it gave us some more context on Ben Urich a little bit, and him freaking out on Robbie.
Gave us Bullseye, whatever.
Yeah, but again, like, I like, give us some new Daredevil villains, like, or like make some kind of D-list Daredevil villains more prominent and give them some like, I don't know, this is probably a really dumb idea, but throw Stiltman in there. I think Stiltman's funny. I think that'd be fun to see him. Or like, you could do some really cool stuff with like Gladiator. I don't know where he is right now in the and by the way, not the Gladiator, like the space guy.
Okay.
But like in the show, he's the dude who makes Daredevil's gear. It's Melvin. Yeah, so he's got his own, like, he's a villain in a lot of the comics, and he's got his own like suit with these like kind of arm wrist blade things. I think he's a cool character. Like, bring him in and do something cool with him. I just think, like, and I get that Matt doesn't have like a huge rogues gallery of like really popular villains. Like, you've got, like, if I ask somebody on the street who Daredevil's villains are, there's a good chance they'd just say Kingpin. If they've read some comics, they'd probably say Kingpin and Bullseye, and then if they're kind of more familiar, then they'd say Kingpin, Bullseye, and the Hand.
Possibly even Elektra, but like at this point, she's a good guy. So
right, so I get that, like, there's kind of a lesser pool to draw from with him, but like, get some new guys, because I know, like, you ask somebody that same question about Spider-Man, and they can probably, even if they've never read a comic in their life, they can probably like immediately name like 5 to 10 Spider-Man villains. So I get that there's like less of a pool to draw from for Matt, but I still think, like, either make some new villains, like, this run has kind of already done that with this weird devil dude. Like, where's he at? I want to see more of that.
Honestly,
he's weird and interesting. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. I mean, I'm obviously going to keep reading this because it's Daredevil, and I will, I read everything, or I I at least buy everything that Daredevil is in. I still haven't read Crypto Shadows, but yeah, I this one did kind of dampen my enthusiasm for the run in the same way that last month's issue really like raised my excitement for the run. I think this kind of dropped it down a little bit. So I don't know. I give it a 6. I thought it was all right, but not great.
I also gave it a 6.
Let's talk about Fantastic Four. Why don't we?
All right.
So this is the one that I made Sebastian read. For me, I'm talking about issue number 13. Sebastian, you read the first 6.
I read the first 6.
What did you think?
I am kind of indifferent.
Okay.
Right? So the first 3 were like, I don't want to say one shot, but it focused on each part of the team. Like the first one was on Ben and Alicia. The second one was on Reed and Sue, and then the third one was on Human Torch. And between those 3, I think I liked the Human Torch one the most. And it felt the most fun to me.
I think my favorite of those 3 was the first one. I really liked the Ben and Alicia story.
That one was interesting but it was just Groundhog Day, the movie.
Right.
Yeah, so I was just like, okay. And then I think I liked the third one so much is because I finally figured out where the fuck he got that damn handlebar mustache from.
That mustache is still fucking terrible. Like they need to get rid of that.
I got introduced to that in the Fantastic Four annual with the
the Contest of Chaos.
Yeah, so I was like, what the hell is this? So I finally figured out, like, I know where it's from now. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. I thought it was just hideous, and I was like, why? But now I get it. The fourth one was basically, it was really between just Human Torch, Reed, and Sue as they were rescuing Ben and Alicia, and we figured out why exactly the world hates the Fantastic Four at the moment. And then the fifth one and sixth one, I believe, were connected.
Yeah, loosely.
Yes. Yes. The sixth one they got added a dimension to their bodies. They couldn't basically eat anything.
Yeah, they became like the negative versions of themselves.
Yeah.
Not like in a Mr. Negative way, but in the sense that they their whole body chemistry kind of changed to the opposite, and so they couldn't do anything in their universe.
Yeah, so they fixed that, and then the sixth one was basically related to that because they had to go to the negative dimension to fix that.
Right.
And they accidentally brought back some
negative particles or whatever.
Particles, that's the word for it. Particles. So they fixed that in the sixth one, and it basically all they're doing is just making the world hate them even more. I don't get it.
That has eased off in recent issues.
Yeah, I'd assume so, because if that is just the entire thing of this run, it's going to get old very fast.
Yeah, I remember because I remember really liking the first issue. I didn't like issue number 2 because it felt kind of samey to the first issue. And then I think 3 was okay. They need to get rid of that mustache for Johnny. There's even in number 13, there's a letters page at the back where I think 2 people complained about the mustache. Please get rid of the mustache. And then the editor's like, it seems like people aren't liking this mustache. But will that stop us? Will that make us remove the mustache? Who knows? I'm like, oh god. But yeah, I fucking hated issue number 5, but I really liked number 4. Anyway, though, at the point where I'm at, it's the Doctor Doom teams up with a T-Rex that is also Doctor Doom, and essentially wants to merge. They both want to merge the two. Both the dinosaur realm and the normal 616 universe, and make a big expanded universe where there's both humans and dinosaurs. It's just I don't really know what the plan was there. I think this run does really good at writing Doctor Doom though. Generally, that being said, the way this issue wraps up is a little bit, I don't know. It's just Ben and the dinosaur version of Ben, which is a big old Pachycephalosaurus. Perfect dinosaur choice for Ben, by the way. They go and they are there when the Dooms are trying to merge the universes, and Ben is the Bens are it'd be a shame if the other one of you were to betray the other one, and they're like, nah, we're gonna rule equally, and they're like, okay, I see what's going on here. Both are gonna betray the other one, but neither wants to believe it. And then Doom is like, that's ridiculous. Doom's like thinking to himself, he's like, that's ridiculous. That would never happen. But he's like, well, actually, though, maybe there is an opportunity. And if I see it, then he sees it. And then they just both turn on each other. I'm like, I don't know. It just feels like Doom would not fall for that. And like, they're both the same Doom. So they should both know that. Like, they're just, one's a dinosaur and one's a human. So that felt a little bit contrived. But you know, I think it was still fun enough. You know, the Avengers have a bit of a supporting role in this, and yeah, you have to see the Fantastic Four dinosaur versions. Because it's Ben who's the Pachycephalosaurus, as I mentioned. Yes. Reed is also a T-Rex, which I'm not entirely sure about. I feel like they should have made him like a big like Brachiosaurus or something, because it's got a long neck and that's like he's all stretchy. Sue is a Triceratops, and then Johnny is a raptor.
That makes sense. I think that's like the one that like him and Ben make the most sense there.
But anyway, like I you know, I think it was fun. And it's like one of the best covers ever, just in general. I almost want to give it an extra star for the cover, but I can't really bring myself to do it. I gave the last one a perfect score just because it was so fun, and I do think the first part was better than this one. This one I ultimately think was still fun, but not quite up to the standards of the last one, even in terms of how fun it was. I gave this one a 7.
Series to rate the series right now, where I'm at, I'd probably give it like a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not terrible considering you're a famous Fantastic Four hater.
I really had to bring it out of me to start this. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. Sebastian famously hates the Fantastic Four. Next issue is when the Bachelor Building comes back, and so we'll kind of see what's been going on with Frank, Valeria, and then Ben's adopted kids. So I don't know. I've never really been a fan of the Fantastic Four kids, but you know, we'll see what happens.
Let's go Green Lantern.
Okay. So I read issue number 5. It's written by Jeremy Adams. The artist is Zermanico. How many did you read again?
I read the first one only.
Okay. At least you finally started it.
I did start it.
What did you think?
I don't remember. I thought it was alright.
Yeah.
It didn't like. I wasn't immediately like, oh my god, this is great, but I didn't think it was bad. I'm trying to remember what even happened. This one was he came back to Earth and he blew up a drone, and I feel like that was like the biggest thing that's ever really happened in this one.
Yeah, I can't help you with that because the first issue came out in May, so I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to like really that's like the biggest thing that like really happened in this issue was that. Oh no, we saw this like green villain dude that had like some armor. I forgot what it was called. Steel Fury apparently is his name.
I do not remember that at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I really don't have a lot to say on this one. But I'd say right now I'd probably give this one a 7.
Okay. Yeah, so issue number 5 is kind of a bit of a confrontation between Sinestro and Hal. Where essentially Sinestro sends out a bunch of drones to like bomb a bunch of big cities, because essentially he's trying to fill up his ring with fear energy so he can leave the planet, because he's kind of stuck on Earth right now. Yes. And so Hal has to go around and just like take down all the drones and stuff before they blow up. I think one of them does hit one of the cities, before he kind of is aware of it, and then he manages to get the rest of them. And so that's kind of what takes up the bulk of the issue. I like the art is still incredible. I really am loving the art on this series as a whole. And then, the last kind of reveal of this is that once Hal like beats all the drones, he goes and he finds Sinestro and he's like, "Yo, your plan's finished, Sinestro. Like you're not filling things up with fear. Like, you know, you're done." And Sinestro's like, "Yeah, well, you know, I haven't filled up my ring with fear, but now my ring is filled up with rage." So now he's like become kind of a Red Lantern, I guess, at the very end, and that's kind of the big reveal is that he's a Red Lantern now, and they're gonna have to do a big fight probably. They've been teasing a big fight from these two for the entire length of the run, essentially. and this is kind of the first one where it looks like they're actually gonna like legitimately fight. Is next issue. But yeah, I still think it's very solid. I don't think this issue is as good as some of the other ones. I think particularly the 4th issue was better than this one. But I still think it's good. There's a backup story about Sinestro's son, and it's gonna be going into like set up the Sinister Sons series, which is starting soon-ish. It's whatever. I don't give a shit about this series that's coming out, and I don't think the backup story is really that great, but like whatever, it's fine. So yeah, I also gave this issue a 7. I do still like this run, but this was not my favorite issue of it. Okay, let's see. Let's move on here. Let's do Batman and Robin. This is Batman and Robin number 3. It's written by Joshua Williamson. The artist is Simone DeMeo. I really don't know what to think of this series right now. It's kind of all over the fucking place.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really like this issue like at all.
Yeah.
I found it really hard to follow, and the art was, I think you've been saying it like the entire time, so dark, and I was lost like half the time trying to follow it. And oh man, I was just like, basically this entire thing was just me being lost.
Yeah.
Like trying to figure out what was going on.
My problem with the art in this series is actually not that it's too dark. It's that it's too like oversaturated and there's too many weird colors and like it does sometimes feel dark, but then also there's points where it feels like the shadows are fucking, or not the shadows, but like the lighting is like out of fucking control, and like there's weird like just bright white lights obscuring like half the page sometimes. I think actually the art, there are points where I think it looks great in this issue. And I don't think I was completely lost, but I don't 100% remember where the last issue ended up. So I was just kind of like, okay, where are we again? And why is Shush trying to kill White Rabbit? And like, what's happening? It's all kind of, and it's a very like, this issue, it's a quick read at least. And it's also this is a kind of a similar thing where I've been talking about with Avengers, where it feels kind of decompressed in this issue in particular, because it just kind of takes place over the span of like, I would say this issue happens within the span of about 15 minutes, probably in real time.
I was going to say like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, there's not really much to this in terms of where it goes. It's all kind of focused around this one point where Batman's just trying to like stop a bomb from going off, and Damian's like kind of trying to go after the terrible trio, if that's even their fucking names.
It is.
And then yeah, like Batman saves White Rabbit. I guess like Damian does also save that doctor dude. I don't even remember who the fuck that character is though.
Dr.
Kafira.
Yeah, Kafira.
I just the one interesting thing kind of maybe is that there's a big old man bat comes up right at the end. He's like, I'm gonna kill you, Damian. So I thought that was, something, I guess. Because I think last issue was pretty good, but this one I was just like, we're back to this being a kind of a strange series that I just don't know what the point of this is. We know that like Shush isn't working with Hush, which I kind of
they're not related at all.
Yeah.
It's weird because they dress the exact same and their names are basically similar.
Right. So I don't know, because I after the first issue I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep reading this. Second issue I liked, so I was like, yeah, I'll keep going. Now I'm kind of back to I don't know if I'm gonna keep reading this.
I don't know if I'm gonna keep reading it. Yep.
Yeah. I may give it one more because I kind of like Man Bat, so like maybe that would be kind of fun. But this is just I feel like it's paced weird. It's just kind of a strange series, and
it really is strange.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Mid.
Yeah, I give it a 6.
I gave it a 5.
And the only reason it's not lower was because it was like a pretty easy read and it didn't like actively make me angry.
Alrighty, Superior Spider-Man.
Okay, so this is it's written by Dan Slott. I believe the artist is Mark Bagley. I will double check that though. I know Mark Bagley definitely did the cover, but I don't know if he's on interiors as well. So like, Mark Bagley's a very legendary Spider-Man artist, so that's cool and all. And the art's fine. I'm curious what you thought of this though, because we didn't read Spider-Boy because we knew that it kind of was tied to a lot of stuff happening in the other Dan Slott adjectiveless Spider-Man series. This is arguably more tied to that, maybe. I mean, we didn't read Spider-Boy, but this is a very seems to be kind of bogged down in like the end of the Spider-Verse and Spider-Boy stuff. And so, like, how did you feel navigating that coming into this?
Right. Well, so I was surprised when I saw Spider-Boy. I was like, oh, fuck, they're introducing this guy. Like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And so, I mean, like, I kind of got, like, snippets from here and there, you know, just from reading. I think they did a good job of, like, not, like, entirely focusing on him and, like, kind of, like, explaining to people who exactly he is. Like,
yeah,
why we haven't seen him was because he disappeared at the end of the Spider-Verse, right? If I remember correctly. He doesn't have web shooters because Peter doesn't trust him enough with them yet. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah, basically that was it. He took down some D-lister. Then and then Supernova showed up, blasted New York to hell, and Peter was like, "All right, the best way to solve this is to not be Spider-Man. I'm gonna be Peter Parker." And then at the end, Doc remembered that Peter is Spider-Man, and that like basically brought all of his memories back.
Yeah, but the way he found out that Peter is Spider-Man is so fucking stupid.
Super dumb. I will agree with you, 100%.
Yeah, because he sends out his octo drones to like get information on supernovas. Yeah. And then Peter's like, "Oh, my spider sense is tingling. Yeah, I get it. Supernova is there. Like, chill out. I'm just taking my mask off." And he absolutely discards or ignores his spider sense, but I feel like it's just not in character. And as a result, Doc Ock finds out that Peter is Spider-Man.
Well, it's just like the biggest like slap on the forehead from that is like literally earlier in the issue he told Spider-Boy to be careful with cameras.
That's also true.
Spider-Boy was about to do the exact same thing, but on the biggest screen in New York, and Peter just does now, but yeah, sure, a smaller camera, but like still, just completely ignored his own advice. So that was
Then there's also a backup story from when I guess Otto was Superior Spider-Man.
Yes,
and I guess Spider-Boy was also there. Like I don't really know if that's been retconned into it, but
I didn't.
The backup story is nothing. Yeah, this is where they had the substitute Fantastic Four. So you've got like Medusa and Scott Lang Ant-Man and like She-Hulk's on there, and another just random person wearing a Thing suit.
I see that.
So I don't know. Like, to be fair, this is better than the one-shot Superior Spider-Man Returns. And I think a lot of that is because it is most of it is just the fight between. It's just like a couple of Spider-Man action sequences. Yeah. And as a result, it doesn't really have a chance to become too overly verbose or to become too boring or to have just like dumb technobabble, like excessive technobabble. So like I think it's an easier read than the other one was, and like it's fine, but I don't think it was great.
No, I mean my problem is with it, like I call it Superior, like they're calling it Superior Spider-Man, but it's just the aftermath of Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they could have just made this, like, literally the regular series, but, like, after the original Superior Spider-Man, they could have just done this. I don't know why they decided to do it now of all time.
Because it's the 10-year anniversary.
It's the 10-year anniversary. I know that, but, like, they could have just, like, made new stories with Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Rather than just this aftermath crap.
Yeah,
who knows?
like
maybe like he'll switch their minds again.
I don't think they can do that though, because then they're just doing the same shit.
It'd be the exact same shit.
Yeah, I just think that this is dumb as a concept. Like I like it's not even this is not even a Superior Spider-Man book. Like I don't know what's the point.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, like, if Otto's not gonna be Spider-Man, then it's just like maybe don't.
Yeah.
Then
I'm gonna call that they have to team up to take down what's her face, Supernova.
I don't know if they will. I think I think
Like
it's
maybe she'll remember, she'll like Spider-Man will get through to her and be like, hey, it was actually Doc Ock in my body. She'll go after him. Peter being who he is, we can't let him die, so they have to team up to defeat her and yada.
I think what it'll more likely be is that Ock and Supernova will team up, and then through their team up, she will realize that it was actually him. And then it'll switch, and Peter will maybe just try to get in between them. I don't know. I probably will not ever know if that's correct because I am not planning on getting the next one unless you make me again.
Yes, sir.
Like it's whatever. I gave it a 6. It's whatever.
I gave it a 7.
It is better than the last one, but still,
I am gonna keep it at a 7.
Okay. Well, while we're on the topic of Spider-Man, I'm gonna go to Spine-Tingling Spider-Man number 2.
Spine-Tingling Spider-Man.
So this is my pick of the week. It's written by Saladin Ahmed. It is drawn by Juan Ferreira. Yeah, I mean it's good. It's a good comic. This is like, it's why I've not lost hope for Daredevil, because it's like I know Saladin Ahmed can write good stuff, because this is a good thing. It's just essentially Peter trying to navigate the weird nightmare hell world, getting away from that train conductor, and
the train conductor.
Yeah, and then he goes to a house where all his friends are being tortured. I don't know what the hell kind of weird contraption Jonah was in. That was a
I don't know what. Yeah, like I mean.
Also, yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, because he was like pulled up into the air from ropes.
Yeah. Also, when did Jonah get so fucking ripped? Like, he is buff in this. I don't know if you
did
noticed.
he? I did not notice that.
Because he's shirtless for his entire time in the issue.
Yeah.
His arms are fucking huge.
Oh, I guess I don't know. I guess I only really looked at like his stomach, and it kind of seemed like he had like dad bod going on.
He's got a little bit, but his arms are real big.
Okay, yeah, I did not notice that.
So yeah, the art is by far, I think, still the main draw of this, though, and I think Saladin Ahmed knows that, because there's not a whole lot of text in this issue. Yeah, and then it ends with it turns out all of the people that Peter's rescuing are like weird demon versions or whatever.
Yep.
They're like, we're gonna kill you, Spider-Man.
Oh.
Yeah, from a plot standpoint, there's not much to talk about, and I think if you lay the plot out, it's not that really impressive or interesting. But I think where this issue and this series so far has really excelled is in just like the vibes and the mood and the atmosphere being really top notch. And again, that is very much down to, I think, the art, but also like credit to Saladin Ahmed, because his dialogue is not getting in the way of the art, which I think sometimes can happen with comics. Yeah, I mean, this is one that I don't have a lot to say on, but I do think it's very good. And yeah, this is, again, pick of the week. I gave it a 9.
So also my pick of the week. My favorite part about this is the art itself. Absolutely loved the conductor still. When Peter like stabbed him in the eye, and they just had that fucking close up of his face.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good, like actually spine tingling. But yeah. But like my favorite part about this is still just the art. I also gave it a 9.
I also do like because Pete doesn't have his powers right now, but I love that even still, like, he's so used to being Spider-Man. There's a point where he's saying how he like doesn't have anywhere else to run, and he's still like in the full Spider-Man pose, like even though he just doesn't have any powers. I love that he's just like the muscle memory is still there, even though he doesn't have any of his abilities. So that puts us on the last one, which is one that only you read. So I'll throw to you.
Yes, I read the Cull number 4.
I have a question here, Sebastian. Because I see your rating for this. Mm-hmm. They mention liminal spaces, don't they?
No, it was just that good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it obviously the last one ended with that giant monster on the beach. This one, it starts there, and I don't remember the characters' names, but 2 of them put it to sleep essentially with their powers. And then they walk to home, right? They go there to try and find her parents, and it's just them at the moment. And then they're kind of like talking, and they find a camera on the beach, and they brought it home, and so they watched, and that monster kind of just showed up and like sent out like basically like probes of itself, and it was basically like sucking up people. And so eventually her parents show up. They spend the night there. They like talk to her parents and stuff like that. And it's at this point that they mention liminal spaces, baby.
I fucking knew it. God damn
they
it.
They mention liminal spaces, right? And this is where it gets just amazing. They talk about liminal spaces, and then the next morning hits, and then they go out, find more parents, and it doesn't matter anymore because they mentioned liminal spaces. So it's a 10 in my book.
Oh, God.
It's a 10 in my book.
Oh, my God.
That's right.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
That's right.
Yeah, because I looked at, even before we started recording, we hadn't talked about any of this. I looked at your rating because I saw you read this, and I saw it was a 10. And I was like, God fucking damn it. Yeah. Talk about liminal spaces again, isn't he?
Yep. They literally said we got our powers from the liminal space, and I went, yup. It's a 10.
Before we started this podcast, I never once saw mention of a liminal space in any fucking comic, and now it happens all the goddamn time. And now
we've seen it shut up about it. I think, well, okay, this one specifically, it's literally about a liminal space, so we've seen it a lot. But like, we saw it in DC of all things. So that's where I was like, yo, what the hell?
And they mentioned it. I don't think they said it by name, but they might have actually in Phantom Road last week, but I don't think you got to that point. So
I did not. Yeah.
Anyway, do you have anything else to say on the Cull?
It ended with I'll tell you how it ended. It ended with one of the kids. They go to find her mom, and her mom basically like writes a suicide note, and they figure out that like her mom had just wrote it. And so they go running to the beach, and they get there too late, and they see a probe sucking her mom up. And so she freaks out, and like it ends with like kind of like her like powers going out of control.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do you still feel like this has been paced weirdly? And because there's only one issue left, do you think they'll be able? Do you think they'll be able to conclude this in a satisfying way?
100%, yes. After this one, I think this one slowed it down a lot, which is what it needed, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I think this one did a good job of doing that, of slowing everything down, and it honestly gave us a lot more backstory behind the monster. Like it did a good between like the 2 pages it did give us. It gave us enough information to be to where we were like, okay, that makes sense. You know, not just be like, okay, why is he's just there now because they crossed over. No, it explained it very like well enough to the point where it's just like, okay, this all makes sense now, and it's all coming together. And I think now with that extra one that they added on at the very end, that it's going to wrap up very nicely.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to pick up the next one. I kind of just I thought about it, and I thought about it for this one. I was just like, you know what? No, I'm not going to. But we'll see. It's skipping December, so it's not, the next one's not till January. So maybe I'll change my mind by the time it comes around. But anyway, that wraps it up for this week. Next week there's some pretty big stuff next week, I would say. One that I am excited for, the Bone Orchard Mythos Tenement #6 comes out. There's also the new issue of Avengers Incorporated. There's also, we will not be reading this because it's very tied into current symbiote lore and continuity, I think. Obviously I haven't read it, so I don't know, but Carnage #1 comes out. One that I am looking forward to, even though I don't think it will be necessarily that good, is Daredevil Black Armor. A new Daredevil miniseries comes out. Also the next issue of Green Lantern War Journal, which I think is has been very good so far. Also, there's a new series coming out next week from Rick Remender and Andy Samberg called The Holy Roller, which is, I think, about a dude who just beats people's heads in with bowling balls. He's like a vigilante who just kills people with bowling balls or something. Could be kind of interesting. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong #2 comes out next week. That's one I'm quite excited for. New issue of Superman, new issue of Wonder Woman, new issue of Dracula, and then new issue of Void Rivals as well. So those are kind of the big ones that I'm shouting out. You got anything to shout out on your end?
Batman Off-World. I don't know. That's a thing.
Yeah, anyway, that will, like I said, wrap it up for this week. Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. If you are on Spotify, you can follow the show over there so that you will not miss when we upload new episodes. You can also, if you would like to share your opinion on the current comics that have been coming out in the state of comics as a whole and what you might be excited for in the future, you can email us at earthsmightiestcomicspod@gmail.com. That is all one word with no apostrophe in the word Earths. You can also let us know what you think about all these comments on YouTube. If you want to leave the YouTube video a comment letting us know how you are liking comics right now. And if you're on YouTube as well, you can also like the video and subscribe to the channel, and you can hit the bell notification if you would also like to be notified over there when we post new videos so that you do not miss one. Anyway, yeah, like I said, that wraps us up for this week. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.